We say Shalom Aleichem to everyone, and we say all praises to the Most High Yahweh in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, for his love and compassion truly endure forever for people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We give the Most High praises and thanks, for the Most High is righteous, and there is no unrighteousness in him. First and first, our Torah portion for this week is found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 10, all the way to Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse 19. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10, all the way to Deuteronomy 25, verse 19. Without wasting time, let's get started. It says, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Most High thy power has delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Now, this is very important for us to understand. Number one, when Hebrew Israelites, we are teaching about captivity, that in future time we're gonna have the nations in captivity. A lot of you simple Negroes, because you love the white man so much, it seems so hard for you to understand that these people that have taken us captives from our ancestral homeland to bring us over here in the American continent, to bring us to the Caribbean, it seems like it's so difficult and so hard for you to see those people in captivity. But according to the Bible, we would have captives, man. We would have slaves. But here, let me read a verse for you right quick. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. The Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. The word possess is basically to own. So you're going to be owning them. Okay? You're going to be owning them. Right? And the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids. You know what that means for servants? For slaves. If this is too hard for you to understand that there's going to be slaves as there were slaves in the Bible, I don't know what to tell you. Because during biblical time, slavery existed. We would take them nations captives, and they would serve us. And then their women, we would take them for our wives. Okay, so that's not new. And it's going to happen in the future. That's exactly what they did to us. And we're going to be doing the same thing to them in the future, man. The Bible says, in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them, meaning the Israelites, shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Those same people that took us and enslaved us, one day we're going to take them captives. Okay? So that's why the Bible says whose captives they were. Right now, we are their captives. We are the slaves. But in future time, they will be our slaves. Right? And they shall rule over their oppressors. Every one of those people that hate us, we're going to rule over them. Our oppressors, we're going to rule over our oppressors. Okay? So the Bible is clear on that. Let me see if I can get you another verse right quick to prove to you. And it's not just, a lot of you might think this is just like a Old Testament thing, right? It's also in the New Testament, right? Let's see if we can get that in Revelation right quick. Because a lot of you, maybe because you are unlearned, you think the Bible is about feelings. The Bible is the book, the history book of a people. It's our history book. It's the history book of the nation of Israel. And you can't just try to input your feelings into the Bible, or you want to change the Most High to be the way you want the Most High. Nah, it doesn't work like that. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth him to captivity shall go into captivity. He that kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. He Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right? Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? So a lot of you don't understand. He that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Who led us into captivity? The white man. Who put chains and iron fetters in our necks? The white man. So they're gonna go into captivity, thus saith the Lord. He who put into captivity shall go into captivity. Now, if you don't know, when the Bible says the saints, you think it's talking about John Paul II? Nah, it's not talking about John Paul II. When the Bible is talking about the saints, it's talking about the children of Israel. How can we prove that? Psalm 119, Psalm 148, verse 14. The book of Psalms, chapter 148, verse 14. He exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise the Most High. So, who are the saints? Those are the children of Israel, not John Paul II, not one of the Catholic wannabe fake saints. Like, none of them, they're not saints. The true saints are the children of Israel. But let's go back to our verse in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, 21, verse 13. Bible says, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off of her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. Meaning, back in the days, if you had taken a captive, you could technically sell the captive for money. But if you've already slept with that woman, you've already had sex with her, she become your wife, then you can't just sell her. You cannot trade her for money. You have to let her go freely. Okay? Let her go. But here's the thing a lot of people don't understand. The Bible gives us the authority, the authorization to simply let that captive woman go. That's another thing. If you find something you don't like in her, or whatever the case is, you can let her go. You don't have to hold on to her, or be like you find like you have to keep her perpetually, permanently. No, you can let her go because she's a captive woman. Verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both both of the beloved, Salakia, and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be, when he make his son to inherit that which he has, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, by giving him a double portion of all that he had, for he is the beginning of his strength, the right of the firstborn is his. So now the first thing is, a lot of people don't understand, and we say that all the time. This law here, the mere fact that the Bible says if a man has two wives, That tells you there is gonna be a time when a man may have two wives. You're not gonna say if a man have $1 million when you know it's impossible a man would ever have $1 million, right? It's like the same thing. For example, the Bible already say a man should men like two men should not be sleeping together. And then later on, the Bible would say if two men have a child together, like that's just not a thing. That would never happen because by law, if two men they sleep together, they should be killed. But if the Bible say if a man has two wives, that means there's a possibility that a man is going to have two wives. And perfect example is a man, for example, who goes to war and he find a captive woman. You have to understand wars were a long campaign. Just like you see nowadays, people get deployed for 4 years, and some of them they get deployed for like nowadays 6 years. Back in the days, you go to battle, man. You go out for a long time. Now imagine as a man, you go out. Let's say you'll go on a military campaign for 4 years or maybe for 8 years. At that time, you might end up having a captive woman, for example. Like you're fighting and you end up getting a woman and she's a captive woman, then she becomes your wife. You sleep with her. Then when you go home, you're not gonna just leave her, you're gonna take her with you. And when you take her with you, if you already have a wife at home, now you have two wives. Like I said, there are situations where a man needs to have two wives. And you have to also understand in Israel, the most important reason why a man needed to have two wives was because of children. You can have a huge land and you have farms, you have a lot of assets, a lot of things. You need children to look out after those things, and you need to be able to pass down your wealth to your children. So what do? If your wife is not able to bear your children, then you might have to have another woman to bear your children so they can look out after all those farms, all those assets. That's the whole purpose of everything in Israel, was to build a strong household. And you can't build a strong household if you don't have children. But then in this circumstance here, the Bible will say if you have two wives, let's say for example, you have one, you love her. On the second one, a captive woman. Let's say she's a captive woman, just like we read the story, and maybe that captive woman come from another nation. She doesn't understand your culture. She has attitude. She's all kind of problem, and you really hate her gut. You don't like her. You hate her because she's trouble. But she did bear you your first child. Then you're not gonna take all of your when it's time for you to give out your inheritance, you're not gonna take all of your inheritance and give it to the son of the woman that you love the most. No, you're still gonna have to give her son double portion. Why? Because your firstborn is the beginning of your strength. That's what the Bible say, the beginning of your strength. So you have to still give him more because he's the firstborn. Okay, and that is called the right of the firstborn to give him more. Okay, so this is why this law exists. But again, the mere fact that the Most High put that supposition, that suppose this happened, then this is what can happen. That means there's a possibility a man is gonna have two wives. We really don't care what somebody say later on or not. Whatever the case is, you just have to understand what the law say. That's the most important thing. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and a rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of the city, and this and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this is our son. He is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of this city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Now, that's very important because you guys, especially for the young generation, you may not understand that the Bible is not a joke, man. Back in the days, if you refuse to listen to your parents, it was a law that the parents could take you to the elders so they can stone you. You know why they have to stone you? Because you're a rebellious child. You're stubborn. You won't listen to your parents. And the lesson here for us to take is, if you are a child, listen to your parents. But because if it was back in the days, you wouldn't even be alive with all your attitude self. I know a lot of you kids, you have a lot of attitude. But back in the days, your parents would take you to the elders and they would stone you because you simply refuse to listen to them. Very, very, very simple and sweet and smooth. It's not like nowadays you got like rights, children's services, even the police. You should not hit your child. You shouldn't do this. Back in the days, you don't listen to your parents. Go ahead, let's go in so we can get you stoned, so you can learn to listen to your parents, right? Um, let me see if I can get you a verse right quick. Let's get Proverbs right quick. The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 8. It says, "My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother." You heard that? Another one, Proverbs 4, verse 1. "Hear, your children, the instruction of your father, and attend to no understanding." You have to listen to your parents. You have to listen to your dad and your mom. And if you don't listen, back in the days, they would take you to get stoned. As simple as that. There was no time to be playing with those devilish, treacherous, wicked children. Nobody was playing games with y'all. You was not listening to instruction. You was being bad. You got stoned. That's it. Let's continue. Next. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 22. "And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree. But thou shalt in any wise bury him that day, for he that is hanged is accursed of the Most High, that thy land be not defiled, which the Most High thy power giveth thee for an inheritance." Very important, guys. If somebody was hanged back in the days, you should not let him remain all night. Why? That was a sign that person was cursed. This is why later on in the New Testament, we see where it says, "Hamashiach, take your curse from you." Because by being hanged, simply by being hanged was a sign of someone who's cursed. But again, what the Bible is saying is, if their body remain all night, Hamashiach's body didn't remain all night, but if the body remained all night, that was a sign, um, that let me read it again. I'm gonna go back. Deuteronomy 21, verse 22. "If a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day, for he that is hanged is accursed." Right. So that's what I meant to say earlier. The fact that Hamashiach was crucified, which really was pretty much the same as being hanged, because he was on the tree or on the pole. Um, that was a sign of someone being cursed. And you would ask, what kind of curse? Hamashiach's curse was taking the curse that was on you for breaking the commandments and taking that curse upon him. That theology, we see it in the New Testament a lot. He takes the curse from the children of Israel, giving us a clean slate so we can go back and keep the commandments. What kind of curse? One of the curses, anyone who would not keep the commandments, you are cursed. And so by taking that curse from you, it doesn't free you from the commandments, but it does give you a chance. If you sin against the commandments, you have a chance to go back to the Most High and keep the commandments again. It doesn't free you so you don't have to keep the commandments no more. That's not what it's saying. You still have to keep the commandments. But the curse that was upon you, the curse which require your blood, the curse which require immediate judgment, that the Hamashiach lifted that for you, giving you another chance uh, to the Most High. How do we know Israel was cursed? John 7, verse 49. But these people who knoweth not the law are cursed. But these people who knoweth not the law are cursed. Another verse we can get is in the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 11. Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. Right, so all Israel have transgressed the law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. That's how we know Israel was cursed as a people. And those curses are found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, chapter 28, Salakia, verse 15 to 68. When you want, you can go back and read it. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 1. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 1. Thou shalt not see the brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. That's very, very, very important. Why that's important? If you see something that belongs to your brother, and it's not talking about your physical brother, it's about that Israel is your brother, Israel, your people, that's your neighbor. So if you see his animal is wandering in the street, even if you had some issues with him, don't let the animal just wander in the street. You gotta take the animal, save the animal, bring the animal to your house, or maybe send word out and let people know that, hey, I find that animal, I have it with me, just come get it. Same thing if you see someone's child is in the street and the child is wandering and is missing, or the child is lost. Don't say you're not gonna do anything. It's you have a responsibility in the Torah to save that child. And if you don't, that is a sin unto you. Verse 22, verse 3. In like manner shalt thou with his donkey, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers, which he has lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise, thou mayest not hide thyself. The same thing you're going to do for anything that is lost. If somebody lost his money, somebody lost his jewelry, somebody lost something, don't just take it to your house. Try to see if you can return it to that person. Now, the Bible asks you to hold on to it until that person is asking for it and you return it. The objective shouldn't be like take it, hide it, and don't say anything, but rather find a way to let him know that you have it and that he should come get it. If you come and take it and hide it, you never tell him until hopefully he forgets so you can use it for yourself. That's stealing. You're a thief. Okay? Verse 4. Deuteronomy 22, verse 4. Thou shalt not see thy brother's donkey or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. So you see someone in a tough situation where his donkey or his ox fell into like a pit or gets stuck somewhere. or fall by the way in the street, or anywhere in a tough situation, hide yourself in a corner and be like, yep, I ain't gonna help him. He is on his own. No, man, you need to go and render aid. Likewise, if your neighbor and you're up close to your house is screaming for help, don't just sleep and act comfortable. If you can, go find out what's going on. If you don't feel comfortable, or maybe you feel like it's not safe, call the police. Try to ask for help, but don't just stay and do nothing, because perhaps that person was screaming and you could have been that person that saved their life. Perhaps that animal that brother have, that fell into a pit, or that fell by the wayside, if that animal died, that's the only thing they had to pay the kids school tuition. This is how you create a better, perfect, and good nation, is where people care about one another and people are not selfish. Verse 5, Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertain unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Most High. Now, the word here that is used is what we call Kelly Giver or Kelly Giver. I know some camps try to push that lie, that doctrine, that this was talking about military attire, but that is false. It was actually what it uses, says article of a strong man, article of a strong man, or gear of a strong man. Didn't necessarily means a soldier, but literally of a strong man, and it was applying to women trying to wearing men's clothes, but it wasn't just saying like for women on, that was only putting a restraint on women putting military attire. That's not what it's talking about. Okay, because some people might try to use that and say, you see, women could not be a police officer, women cannot do this. No, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about women shall not wear that which pertain to a man. Let's make it very simple. It's talking about men clothes. If you're a woman, you'll be wearing pants, you're wearing men clothes. Okay? Say, oh no, this is female pants. Well, we read it many, many times that even in the beginning, when men were wearing pants, you never saw women wearing pants at all in the Bible. Women always wear skirts. Okay? Now, let me show you something. Let's get the book of Exodus. I'm going to show you that pants is mentioned in the Bible. Let's get the book of Exodus, chapter 28, verse 42. Let's see if we can get it right quick. The book of Exodus, chapter 28, verse 42. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness, from the loins even unto the thigh they shall reach. Those breeches, this is the same word. You can even look at it now, modern day, like nowadays, it's the same thing for pants. Back in the days, we had pants that would go from literally our waistline all the way to our knees. And later on, you see the other nations, they have them much longer. But the very concept of breeches, of pants, is for men, not for women. So if you're a woman, you find yourself wearing pants, you have to understand you're breaking the commandments of the Most High. And so whatever excuse you give yourself to say, maybe it's my job, you're going to have to start working on that so you stop wearing pants. This is what the Most High says. This is what the commandments of the Lord say. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 6 is, if a bird's nest chance to be before thee, and away in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young and upon the egg, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. Now, this law seems to be a very simple law that some people will be, I don't care about that. But this is important. Why? If every time you see a bird that has babies, you take the mom, then the mom is not gonna have more babies. And most importantly, the babies are definitely gonna die because the babies cannot do it on their own all alone. That's the simplest way you can like literally destroy a whole ecosystem is by taking the mom and not caring whether they left babies behind. Or you know that they have babies in the nest and you just take the mom. The Bible says you have to take the baby but leave the mom. Why? Because the mom can have more babies. And again, it's just a small little one. But don't just, or the Bible actually rather say that, yeah, take the young or the eggs, but you don't just take the mom, because if you take the mom, it's a problem. So let's read it one more time. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest prolong thy days. Very simple, man. The little babies, you can take them, and maybe you can go home and feed them and grow them into big birds. But don't take the mom and let the babies. And definitely, every time you take the mom, you destroy the mom, the mother bird. Then guess what happens? You are destroying the ecosystem. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 8. When thou buildest in your house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thy house. If any man fall from there, that's called responsibility. You don't want to build your house any type of way and that somebody may fall. Like that's your fault. Okay? Next, 22 verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. That's another thing. You will see the Most High in many occasions, the Most High like to separate things. You're not supposed to just plant everything and just mix. Like here in the field, you have potatoes, uh, um, grapes, corn. You got everything all over. Like you're not supposed to do that. You have to separate the field. You understand? And you have seeds in that this type of seeds in one place and the other seeds in the other place. Verse 22, chapter 22, verse 10. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and a donkey together. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen or linen together. That's another law that's very important. You are not supposed to be wearing mixed fabrics. So you can't have your clothes is like 50% polyester, 10% cotton, like, and then 20% this. Like the Most High doesn't deal with this madness. If it's gonna be 100% cotton, it's gonna be 100% cotton. If it's gonna be 100% whatever linen, then it's 100% linen. Now we typically try to avoid polyester, but it would be for health reasons, not so much because it's unlawful, but for your health, you have to be careful because of how polyester was created. So you want to try to avoid it as much as you can. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. This is a verse that I feel like a lot of people, they know it, and some people, they try to put a stiff resistance to not trying to do what the Most High tell them to do. Some people, instead of trying to do what the Most High tell them to do, they try to find a reason to say, you see, because I don't get it right, I'm not gonna put fringes at all. Honestly, I will tell you something. I would rather you wear fringes, any type of fringes, whether it's um, the long one or the short one, but as long as you have fringes on you, you are making progress. You are showing that you are obeying the Most High. But you still have to do it right, though. Numbers 15, verse 35. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes and the borders of their garment throughout their generation, and that they put upon the fringe or the borders a ribbon of blue. So you're still gonna have to have that ribbon of blue and the borders in your fringes. Okay, very important. Verse 13, Deuteronomy 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came unto her, I found her not a maid. What does that mean? She was not a virgin. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city and the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he has given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yes, these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him. And there shall immerse him 100 shekels of silver, and give unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. So if you have a man, okay, and that man decides to marry a woman, and after he married that woman, he goes and tell everybody she's not a virgin. He spread rumors saying that she's not a virgin. Now in Israel, that's a very bad thing. I know you're gonna ask, why is that a very bad thing? Because if a man find a woman that she's not a virgin, that means she's been sleeping around with men. Okay, and that can cost a woman her life, because the Torah, we take that stuff seriously. For a woman, if you're a woman, you're sleeping at your with a bunch of men while you're still at your father's house, that right there, you can get killed for that. Okay, so now this man, he spread rumors saying that he found this woman and she was not a virgin. So the mom and the dad, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to go to the elders with the token of virginity. Now you might ask, what is the token of virginity? The token of virginity was uh, given to the mom and the father after two people got married. So this is how it went down. A man and a woman, they get married, they go to a chamber. When they go to the marriage chamber, they sleep together and they have sex. And you would have, blood falling, especially because the woman is a virgin. Blood will fall on the cloth. That cloth, it's a white cloth that they would sleep on. Think of it as the bed sheet. They would sleep on it, and when the blood fall on it, then um, that would be the proof that she was in fact a virgin. And in the morning, that cloth or sheet would be given to the father and to the mother of the damsel, of the woman, and they would use that and hold on to it for as long as it take as proof that their daughter was in fact a virgin. But then if later on this guy is saying stuff saying she was not a virgin, that's a problem. So what the parents, they have to do, they have to take that token, that proof of virginity, and bring it to the elders of the city. And the elders of the city would chastise him for that, and also force him to pay 100 uh, shekels of silver, and that money would go to the father of the damsel. Why? It's a form of damage payment, because you try to damage their reputation. So you would be forced to pay them 100 shekels of silver, and on top of that, he was not allowed to leave her. Because some men, maybe they've done sleep with the woman and they're trying to find an excuse so they can just let her go. Like you can't let her go. You're gonna stay with her and she's gonna be your wife forever. Okay? Next. But what if it's true though? What if she was not a virgin? The Bible says, but if this thing be true, and the token of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stone, that she die, because she has wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put away evil from among you. Meaning that if this thing is true, and the guy has slept with her, and he's like, she wasn't no virgin, then there's a problem. And they he started spreading rumors saying she was no virgin. Fathers, the father and the mother, they can't have no proof of no. There's no token of virginity, or they have the token of virginity. There's no blood on it. She's in trouble. Then obviously the men of the city, they would come and they'll stone her to death. That because she's been having sexual relationship while she's at her father's house. That's wicked as hell. Okay. Next, Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man lay with the woman that lay with the woman, and the woman said, so shall thou put away evil from Israel. 22 verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin, now mind you, very important, the verse above is saying that adultery is not a gain. Okay? Um, there is no justification for adultery. There is no there is no justification for adultery. There is no covering up for adultery. If you're a man, you know a woman is married, stay away from her. If you're a man, you know a woman has a fiance, stay away from her. Likewise, if you're a woman, stay away from the man, okay? Because that's how wickedness is spreading all over the damn country. It's because nobody has boundaries nowadays. They think it's cool. Oh man, I cool man. I know she with that guy, but I've been hitting her. Like that's wickedness. And according to the Bible, if you're a man, they find you sleeping with a woman, with a married woman, you need to be put to death. Okay? Both of y'all should be put to death. The woman and the man. Now let's keep on reading. Deuteronomy 22 verse 23. If a damsel, which is a young woman, that is a virgin, be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city, and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stone that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away his evil from among you. Do you guys know what betrothed unto a husband that means? That do you know what that means? That means to be promised unto a husband. So if you have a woman, she's promised to a man. Back in the days, to be promised to someone would even include a financial amount that was supposed to give to the parents of that woman. And so if you know she's promised to a man, money has already been exchanged. The deal has already been done. The only thing they're waiting for is literally to have the wedding ceremony, but they are basically fiancé. She's promised to that man. And you go and sleep with her, you're gonna both of you gonna be killed. Both of you needs to be stoned. Why? Because you literally sleep with the man's wife. You're gonna say, well, they weren't married yet. Well, according to the Bible, this is the same thing. The Bible look at it as the same thing, as if literally they are married. So you got to be mindful of that. A fiance is equally the same thing in the eyes of the Most High as to a married person. Same thing. Is as serious as it is. try to sleep with a woman that is fiancé to this guy, you're supposed to get stoned. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed a damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor, and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So she is a damsel. She is promised to a man, but this man saw her in the field and grabbed her and raped her. This matter, you cannot touch the woman, meaning you cannot kill the woman. Why? Because she is a victim. And the Bible describes it as if the same thing as you kill a brother. That means if a man has a woman, you rape his wife, is the same thing as killing him. Therefore, you have committed an act that is equivalent to murder, and therefore you need to die. Okay? Very important. A man is fiancé to his woman. Okay? And you go and sleep with that woman, that's the same thing as murder. You are supposed to die. The Torah is tough, but it is righteous. So Negroes, they need to know, you need to know your boundaries and stop being wicked. Right? Verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels. And she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her, he may not put her away all the days of his life. Now, the requirement here is very simple. What if, for example, that woman was not a virgin, and this man just lay a hold on her, and technically it's a violent act, and take her virginity? Obviously, nowadays, if you do that, you rape a woman, you will actually go to jail. But back in the days, they rather have you pay a fine for that, and you would pay 50 shekels of silver, and she's gonna be your wife now. You have no choice but to hold on to her and keep her as your wife, because you've already humbled her, and you have no right to put her away. No excuse, nothing can you bring before the judges to say, well, I don't like her no more. I'm just gonna, no, she's gonna be your wife. The Bible says, a man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Now, mind you, very important, later on we'll see the father actually has a right to decline to give his daughter to that man. For example, if a man, he literally do like a violent sexual act on a woman, the father can always say, no, I'm not giving my daughter to this man. But if the father is okay, he can still give his daughter to this man, but this man will have to pay 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Why? Because he had already humbled her. He may not put her away, and she's always gonna be his wife. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 30. A man shall not take his father's wife. Yes, you cannot take your father's wife. And because women were skirt, the Bible says, nor discover his father's skirt. What that means, your dad's wife, that's literally your father's skirt. That means that skirt that you see she's wearing, that only one person that's supposed to see underneath that skirt, that's your father. Okay, nobody else. That's your father's belonging. He owned that. And if you're the one that be trying to sleep with your father's wife, man, you're wicked as hell, bro. You're wicked as hell. Deuteronomy chapter 21. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or has his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation. So if you have your private stones, if you know what I mean, for men always have two stones, basically testicles. If they are cut off, you will not enter into the congregation of the Lord. A bastard, the Hebrew word here is mamzer. A mamzer shall not enter the congregation of the Most High. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Now, the definition of the word mamzer can be a little complicated, can be a little tricky, but the only thing you have to know is a mamzer is someone who's born in a forbidden relationship. Okay? For example, uh, when Lot ended up having children with his daughters, that relationship is forbidden. And the children that come out of them, those are mamzer. Likewise, for example, a woman who's married, she has children with another man. Those children, we're not talking about children that are simply born out of wedlock. This we're talking about children that are born of wickedness, where the men sleep, the women sleep with another man. You understand? That's the kind of wickedness we're talking about. So, for example, I know in Christianity what they teach is if for example, as a man you are married to a woman, okay, and somehow you have a child with another woman out of wedlock, that child is a mamzer. No, that child is not necessarily, it's not a mamzer. But the woman herself, if she goes sleep with another husband, okay, not another husband, another man while she has a husband, that child itself is actually a mamzer, is a bastard. Okay, so let's continue on. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 3. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against the Balaam, the son of Beor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Most High thy power would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Most High thy power turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Most High thy power loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all thy days forever. I know you might ask, what is it talking about? Well, there are two groups of people the Bible explicitly forbid from becoming Israelites or from entering into the congregation of Israel. We're not talking about like entering like a church, meaning becoming a member of the Israelite people, becoming one of us. Those were the Ammonites and the Moabites. But the second reason, or rather the most important reason, was because number one, they, when we were trying to get into our ancestral homeland, when we were coming out from Egypt, they didn't welcome us. In fact, they wanted to fight against us. And to the point they even hired Balaam to try to curse us. So they can never enter into the congregation. If you would look at the Bible, you see many times there were some other nations that was among us. Living among us, there was no problem, but we would not let the Moabites or the Ammonites. Deuteronomy uh, chapter 23, verse 7. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. Now, the word abhor means to have deep hatred against Esau. Let me tell you something. We don't hate Esau. The Lord hate Esau. And because the Lord hate Esau, we read in the book of Psalms, it says, I hate those that hate the Lord. So we don't hate Esau because Esau um We don't hate Esau because of who Esau is. We hate Esau because Esau hate the Lord. Okay, that's the problem. But our hatred towards Esau is not because of Esau's skin color. Ah, it's not because of Esau's skin color. Esau hates us. Esau hate the Most High. And we read it in Psalms to say, I hate those that hate the Lord. Okay, Esau hate the Lord. That's our problem with Esau. But not only that too, Esau has had a perpetual hatred against us. We always say that the Lord hates Esau. The Lord tell us what's gonna happen to Esau. The Lord tell us that because they put us into slavery, we will put them into slavery. So it's not us that say it, it's the Lord that say it. It's not us. And we don't hate Esau like Esau hate us. You don't see us like the KKK working around trying to chase Edomites. No, we don't do those things. But they're trying to kill our people. They be hanging Negroes every day. Read the news. They be hanging our people every day. They hang people, our people all the time. And they're covering it up. We don't do those things to them. So we don't hate them. But they hate us. Okay? That's the difference. And people need to know that. Because people try to use that verse. You see, we got it. First of all, even if you don't hate Esau, that don't mean you should love them either. Just even if you don't hate Esau, that don't mean you should let them come to your house. Where does it say you have to let them to come to your house? Because people apparently they're using that verse to see. You need to let Esau come in. You need to let Esau come to your place of worship. You need to let Esau become. Let's be one with Esau. Nah, we're not gonna be one with Esau. If you want to be one with Esau, good luck. But we won't. Okay. Verse Deuteronomy 23, verse 8. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Most High in the third generation. You know why in the third generation? Because by that time, the children are no longer thinking like Esau. They would be thinking the way we see things. They would already have known the feasts. They would have already known the commandments. That's why back in the days we had let them on their third generation. But now we don't have a state. We don't have a country. So there is no reason why you should be like letting them in into your place of worship. Deuteronomy 23 verse 9. When the host goes forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanliness that chanceth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp, but it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again. You know what that means? What that means is that if the Israel is going to war, you can't just have any wicked thing going on or people that are unclean among you, because these people, they're gonna cause you to lose. Verse 11 again. But it shall be when evening cometh, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come up into the camp. So like if it's like, for example, Thursday, um he needs to wash himself, and then after the sun go down, then he'll be clean. Deuteronomy 23 verse 12. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad, and thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapons. And it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee. For the Most High thy power walk in the midst of thee, to deliver thee, and to give thee up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing and thee, and turn away from thee. You want to know what that means? Poop. When you go out to war, or you go somewhere, you staging a camp, okay? And some people, maybe they're gonna wanna poop. Back in the days, we had bayonets. On the guns, we had bayonets. It's like a knife. You would use it to dig a hole, and you can dig a hole so you can drop, something. If you have to poop, you can poop right there, and you cover it up. But don't be nasty, and you got your poop, your fishes all over, you pee everywhere. place smell bad, poop everywhere. Damn. And then when the Holy Spirit, when the angels of the Most High trying to pass by to come and bless us, when the angels of the Most High trying to come to help us win wars, then we can't win. You know why we cannot win? Because of your nasty self. You know why we cannot win? Because you are disgusting. You have poop everywhere and nasty stuff everywhere. And so the angels cannot pass by to bring the blessing. So we can't win. Most High take this thing seriously, man. Verse 15. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 15. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it like him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. This is a law. Back in the days, if you are a slave, you escape. They'll chastise you and they'll beat you up and return you to your master. In Israel, that's not how it works. If you're a servant, you escape from your master. I'm speaking specifically of servant. If you're a servant, you escape from your master. They're not supposed to return you to your master. You need to stay where you are at, because the Most High see your safety and your well-being as most important, and cherish that. 17, Deuteronomy 23:17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite, which is gay people, Batman, cha-cha, whatever they call them, masisi, right? You can't have no whores, no prostitute female that are sleeping with every man for money, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Those are like we say, bati boy and masisi. Most I say you're not gonna have those kind of people among us. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Most High. Of the Most High thy power for any vow. For even both these are abomination unto the Most High. So if you done did your prostitution, you can decide and take that money and bring it to the house of the Most High, or trying to make a vow, right? Or the Bible also say the price of a dog. You can't, those money are forbidden. Don't bring them and try to make a vow and say, Lord, I vow to, if I give you $150,000, that's my vow unto the Lord. Like, it's not accepted. Okay? The Bible say, for even both of these are abomination unto the Most High thy power. Deuteronomy 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend usury to thy brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that lend upon usury. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Most High thy power may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand upon to do in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Do you know why you shouldn't lend with usury? Because if you do that, you will never go anywhere. Okay? You will never go anywhere. As a people, one of the reasons why black people we cannot make progress is every time we ask Esau for something, we are begging for money. We ask for $300, they give you 30%, 50% interest. I'm already broke, and you slap me with all that interest, I'll never be able to finish paying. The Most High didn't want you to do that. But the treatment, how you treat yourself, doesn't have to be how you treat your enemies. You can do that unto a stranger that is within thy gates, but you can't do that to your brothers or your sisters. So different treatment here, very important. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 21. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Most High thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Most High thy power will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee, and it would be sin in thee. Verse 22. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That which is gone out of thy lips shalt thou keep and perform, even a freewill offering according to as thou hast vowed unto the Most High, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. You have to, you have to keep your word. If you say you're gonna do something, you have got to do it. Okay? Don't be the kind of people that gonna say, um, I'm gonna do something and I don't do and you don't do it. The Most High look at that as a sin. If you do that, you committed a sin. Okay? Now let me get you another verse to show you something right quick. Let me get you a verse right quick. Let's get the book of let's get Matthew right quick. Let's get the book of Matthew 5:37. The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. This is why the Most High is saying what? The Most High is saying, that which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform. Even a free will offering according to according as thou hast vowed unto the Most High thy power, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. So what you say you're gonna do, do it. If you promise to do something for the Most High, do it. Don't be lying. But most importantly, remember, very important, don't be bringing wicked gifts or dirty money to the Most High. The Most High is not interested in those things. Deuteronomy 23 verse 24. When thou come into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes till thy fill at thy own pleasure. But thou shalt not put any in thy vessel, because that is the difference between hungry, being hungry, and stealing. Once you start putting them in your vessels and you taking their grapes and you leaving, you're stealing right there. But if you're just taking to eat, the Bible did not consider that as unlawful. Verse 25. Rather, the Bible didn't look at that as stealing, right? But again, once you take it with you, you put it in vessels, you put it in like a bucket, or you put it in something, that's when that's considered as stealing. You're basically stealing. Okay? Let's continue on. The Bible says, then thou mayest pluck the ears with that hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn. Then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn. Because if you have a sickle in your hand and you're trying to get a lot of corn, then you're stealing at that point. You're not just hungry, you're trying to get something, you're stealing. Deuteronomy 24 verse 1. When a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now, a lot of men would take that, okay, and they would find a reason why to let their wives go. But this is where Hamashiach came to make it harder by asking that we do not let our wives go except for fornication. You can't just sleep with the woman because you just look at her, you find one little thing you don't like. Oh my God, look at it. I don't like those toenails. Gone. When we're looking at uncleanliness, some people would try to use the word uncleanliness to say, I don't like the toenails. That's a form of uncleanliness. Even though that's not what the Bible is saying, uncleanliness was actually a much more deeper issue. But people would find reasons, any random reasons to just leave their woman. And Hamashiach say, unless it's a case of adultery, unless it's a case of fornication, okay, then you cannot leave your woman. Okay? So you can't just be leaving that woman for any little thing. You've already humbled her. I mean, you've already humbled her. You've already, you've done everything, and then you want to just let her go. That's not how it works. Okay? Let's continue. And when she's departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Very important. After a woman has gotten a bill of divorce, she can go and get another husband. And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Most High power, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Most High power giveth thee for an inheritance. So what does that mean? You cannot be sleeping with a woman, let her go, and take her back. We don't do exes like that. That's not how what we do in Israel. You sleep with her, you marry her, you sleep with her, you do all kind of stuff. Then she goes and find a new man. Then she come back to you, baby, I miss you. Or you singing, baby, come back. Like we don't do that in Israel. She left. You give her a bill of divorce. She found herself a new husband. Let her be with her new husband. You're not supposed to take her back. If her new husband divorced her too, you're not supposed to take her back. The Bible calls it an abomination. Okay, there are a couple of things that are called an abomination. One of them lying lips, another one homosexuality. This one is also called an abomination. That's wicked. Most I say no. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 5. When a man has taken a new wife, he shall go out to war. Neither he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife, which he has taken. Man, listen, I need that. That's a big vacation. You can't give him a lot of work to do because he needs to spend 1 year honeymoon. All praises to the Most High. I ain't gonna complain about that. Man, can you imagine? Can you imagine I got myself a wife, right? 1 year I can spend chilling with her. Well, no, not chilling with her, but honeymooning, I guess we can say. 1 year. And so you can't call me to war too. I gotta spend my time to enjoy with my wife. Deuteronomy 24 verse 6. No man shall take the nether or the upper milestone to pledge, for he has taken a man's life to pledge. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil from away among you. You know what that means? That means kidnapping. You capture someone, you take someone, you steal him. That's what the Bible uses the word stealing, and you sell him. That's a form of kidnapping. Okay? And guess what? The Bible says you shall be put to death. Deuteronomy 24 verse 8. Take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priest, the Levite, shall teach you. As I commit thee this day. Salakia, as I commit them. So ye shall observe to do. Remember what the Most High power did unto Miriam by the way. After that, you will come forth out of Egypt. Let's continue on. essentially, you guys should know that. I mean, what he's saying is that you need to listen diligently to what the priests are telling you considering leprosy, because leprosy is a serious sickness, and it really does spread very fast, and it does spread throughout the whole country. So, I mean, if you find there's a sign of it, you don't want to let it spread. You need to contain it. That's why you have to listen to the priest, and not just be rebellious. Okay. 24 verse 10. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the men to whom thou dost lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. So essentially, what he's saying is, he says, when thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. So you can just, if you borrow somebody some money, you go to his house, harassing him, maybe in front of his family. I need this. Like, you can don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't go up all up in front of his house. And the Bible also says, if the man is poor, it says, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge, because he is a poor man. In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goes down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteous unto thee before the Most High thy power. That's how you be righteous. Anything opposite of that, the Most High look at it as wickedness. 24 verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy stranger that are in thy lands within thy gates. Okay? At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Most High, and it be sent unto thee. So you see how nowadays they treat poor people, they treat immigrants, because immigrants are a stranger to this country. Immigrants come trying to make a living. Immigrants trying to leave, and people are oppressing them. And all of them, they're calling themselves Christian, right? But the Bible says, "What? Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy stranger that are in thy lands within thy gates." A hired servant, for example, an immigrant, that's like cleaning your houses, that's cleaning, that's in the restaurant, doing dishwashing and all kind of stuff. Like, you cannot oppress these people just because they are strangers. Okay, you need to show them love and compassion. And what you see here that's going on in America is a shame. It's a shame how they're treating the immigrants, right? The Bible say, "At his day shalt thou give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon him, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Most High, and it be sent unto thee." What do you see? In Israel, back in the days when the Hebrew Israelites, our people first returned to our ancestral homeland, a lot of the fake Jews, they were, one of the things they were doing, they were not paying our people. They'd have our people work and would not pay. The Bible called that wickedness. And if you do that and our people cry unto the Most High, it becomes sin unto you. You're supposed to pay, man. Because if you don't pay, that's an act of oppression. Verse 24, chapter 24, verse 16. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. So you can't, like, little Jimmy did something, and you're gonna snatch up his parent, his mom, and his dad, and you're gonna execute him for that. That's wickedness too. Whoever sinned, he's the one that receives judgment. You can't just kill the father for his child. That's not how it works, man. That's wickedness. That's wickedness. That's a sin. Deuteronomy 24 verse 17. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor of a widow's raiment to pledge. But shalt thou remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Most High thy power redeemed thee thence, before I command thee to do this thing. The Bible says what? Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. Okay, so don't be perverting the judgment of a stranger nor for fatherless. So that means what? That means just because somebody's poor immigrant or poor stranger in your land, you can't just choose automatically to favor your people. And you see, white people used to do that a lot back in the days. They still do the same thing. White people have rights, slaves have no rights. Slaves couldn't even show up in court. Slaves couldn't show up in court to defend themselves. Wild, right? Esau is the devil the Bible speaks of for sure. Deuteronomy 24 verse 19. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go against to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger. Why? Because the Bible says, for the fatherless and for the widow, that the Most High thy power may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs. Again, it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes, I'm going to show you why. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyards, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. That means one time you were poor, one time you were in the bottom, one time you were nothing. Who's gonna look out for those people if you don't? So if you if you do like a harvest, you gotta leave some stuff behind. And if something fall down, man, don't be like, I'm gonna clean the field. Those homeless people, they depend on those little things to eat. Those homeless people, they depend on your mangoes that fall down to eat. Those poor people, they depend on that sheaf that is behind for them to eat. You have to look out for one another. The poor, the fatherless, and the widow. The stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. Because those people are the most vulnerable in your society. Okay? 25 verse 1. If therefore a controversy between men and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, and they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And we've seen that before where leaders would justify the wicked and condemn the righteous. Those leaders are wicked. And judgment is coming for them. They don't know it, but judgment is coming. The Most High has already declared it. And if they knew what was coming, they would repent now. Okay? But long story short, not long story short, rather to make it simple, is if you're a good, righteous leader, you will condemn the wicked and you uphold the righteous. You will justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Anything short of that is corruption. Verse 2. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and be beaten before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number. 40 stripes he may be given, not exceed less, if he should exceed. Lest if he should exceed, and beat him above this with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Right? So even for example, when someone is gonna, because sometime back in the day, certain sin you commit, you need to be beaten. I'll give you a nice beating. But the Bible says you cannot give him more than 40 stripes. You can only give him 40 stripes. If not, that person must seem vile unto thee. So like yeah. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out of the corn. If brethren dwell together, and by the way, that's very important. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. Why? Because if you muzzle the ox, then he is not able to eat when he's hungry. That's actually animal cruelty. That's wickedness. Don't do that. You got to let him, while he's working, he can eat something from time to time. Unfortunately, you see, the Most High had to give us all those laws because he knows we would do the opposite of them. or because we were already doing it at the time. Verse 5, if brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall marry without unto a stranger, shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of her husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Now, according to the Bible, you have to understand it was very important that your family, each one of you, your household continue. And this is why I was talking about earlier. And when I said it's back in the days, it was more important to build a household than anything else. So a man who would have more than one wife was not strictly for pleasure. It was basically to build a strong house. As you can see, even if the brother dies, right, and he didn't have kids, maybe he died suddenly, he didn't have kids, then his brother, one of his brothers, would have to go unto his wife, and his wife would give a child. Now, that child would have the same DNA, close to the same DNA as the brother, even though that's the child of the father of his brother. But that dead brother, that child would carry the name of that dead brother. So if the dead brother, his name was Ben Yehuda, then that child would be, for example, um, Jonathan Ben Yehuda, or that child would be Simeon Ben Yehuda. So his last name would be Ben Yehuda according to the name of the dead brother. So the name of the dead brother is not blotted out of Israel. The name of the dead brother is not gone forever. You need that lineage to continue. Okay? So here you have to see how important it was that the Most High didn't want to leave no gaps. And so this is why back in the days, if a man has a woman and she could not give birth to children, at one point after so many tries, he would go and find another woman and marry that woman so that woman can give him children. And it was not strictly because he really wanted to sleep with a bunch of women, but he needed to have a heir. He needed to have his lineage passed on. He needed to have children. That's important. Okay, let's continue on. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refused to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of the city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come up unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto the man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel. His name shall be called in Israel the house of him that has his shoe loosed. Now that was actually a shame. Why? Because they expected you would build a house in the name of your brother. You know why that's important? Because your brother might have had um, maybe a big farm. Maybe your brother had 10 homes. Maybe your brother had huge real estate. They wanted to ensure you would have a child that can carry, uh, that can own all of those things. And if you think of it radically, this wealth is supposed to stay in the family. Because let's say, for example, for a second, you say, I don't want to sleep with that woman and give her a child. Well, the problem that's going to happen is maybe she's going to marry somebody else from another tribe. Or I don't know. Maybe she's gonna marry, even if she marries, for example, somebody from the same tribe, but it's not gonna be from immediately from the same family. Then all that wealth is not gonna be passed on to your brother. It's gonna be passed on to somebody else because that husband that's gonna come in now is gonna have a claim to that wealth. All of those you have to take it into consideration. Deuteronomy 25 verse 11. When men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draw near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smite him, and putteth forth her hand, and take him by the secret, then shalt thou cut off her hand, that hand shall not pity her. Thou shalt have in thy bag divers weights, a great and a small. Thou shalt not have in thine house divers measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measures shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened, and the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee. For all that do such thing, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination unto the Most High thy power. Remember what Amalek did unto Egypt, unto thee, by the way when you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hintermost, and smote the hintermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and feared not the Most High. Therefore it shall be, when the Most High thy power has given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, and the land which the Most High has given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, that the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. So very important for you to remember what Amalek is savage, man. When Amalek attacked Israel, Amalek attacked the weak ones first. Those people that were behind, the weak ones, the sick ones, those people that couldn't walk, they attacked them first. Very wicked. And that's why the Most High wanted to take out Amalek. But I don't want to, there's something I don't want to skip, which is Deuteronomy 25, verse 13, where it says, if you, thou shalt not have in thy bag divers weights, a great and small. So back in the days when people are selling things, for example, they're selling rice, or they're selling any other grains, they would have different measures or different weights. So they come to you and they weigh the thing, and they say, this is how many pounds it is. I'm using the word pounds, but we didn't have pounds back in the days. But they say this is how many pounds, but that weight is falsified. And so they would do that so they can sell more. They could make more money. But the Most High look at that as wickedness. Likewise, if you have different measures, like this measure here is I make it specifically that way so I can give you less rice, so I can give you less grains. This is wicked as well. The Most High don't like that. And the Most High say, 25 verse 15, but thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure, that thy days may be lengthened. Verse 16, for all that do such thing, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination unto the Most High thy power. Everybody that does that, man, you're wicked. This is an abomination unto the Most High thy power. 25 verse 19, therefore it shall be, when the Most High thy power has given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, and the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. This is very important, okay? It's a commandment that we blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Why? Because Amalek is wicked. Even nowadays, what them Amalekites they do nowadays is take advantage of our people, because they have control of the banking industry. They charge us with interest. They conspire against our people. They steal our identity, walking around calling themselves Jews. So the Most High ask that their remembrance be blotted out from under heaven. Okay? But remember that. With that, I say all praises to the Most High Yahweh B'Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. This was our Torah portion for this week. I pray that the Most High bless you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Shalom.